Let me just say, I thank you for letting me be here today. And, we are the Industrial Development Board, and we do, know that we bring, quality jobs to the city. It's one of our problems, and, you've, allowed us to do that for quite some time. I noticed we're looking at, my question, is she's cut the allowance from, I believe we had 50,000 last year, which was a raise over 40 from the year before. But the reason we went up to 50 was because we agreed to cut our own grass. If y'all remember that.
Yes, sir.
And take it away from the city, who I understood was extremely overtaxed as far as their ability to hire people and to do it. So, I'm assuming $30,000 is for 6 months and then we reevaluate.
Correct.
Out of the $30,000 that you're proposing to do, we take out another 78% of that. So you can imagine what he's gonna take a cut. Okay? And then we're going to still have to cut our grass because we don't have an agreement with the city to pick back up and cut the grass. We also pay $9,000 a year to keep the note on the speculative building in effect. So we got some pretty heavy expenses that we proposed to y'all last year, and you understood. From what I'm hearing, everybody's gonna take some sort of cut, and I understand that. And we're willing to do the same thing. I don't think there's ever been a time when y'all call over to Calvin Miller and ask him for your help that you don't get it.
Yes, sir.
And you get a full-time man for probably about $40,000, which is probably about a $150,000 a year job.
Now, wasn't there a deposit that company made for the speculative building that even though they didn't get it, we keep it correct?
They did, and, I talked with him, we're talking about the sale of the speculative building. It looks like it's not going to happen. The person who wanted it didn't get the license to, in the marijuana business that went through down that legislature. So, we will get $50,000 back. And, we'll have to apply for it. I don't know when we'll get it, but we should get it within the next 6 months.
So he didn't give you that deposit up front, like for?
No, it would have been used to offset the cost of the building should he have gotten the license he needed.
Then if it's determined they're not gonna do it, he gives you.
Right. So we talked Friday, and he said the money's yours, you've got to go through the legal process to get it back. But it's in escrow, so it's there. He does say that, there's gonna be a lot of litigation on that issue, and it may be 2 years before it's settled in Alabama.
Are you gonna have to pay legal fees just to?
I don't think so. I think we may have to pay some minor legal fees, but I don't think it'll be anything major. But he says he loves Sylacauga, and if they somehow prevail through litigation, that they would still like to be here. He said whether we can still have that building or not, doesn't matter, because you've got other property, and we do have some property across the road from there, and we could place somebody. But, my personal opinion is he's not gonna prevail. So I think that this will be a big issue on the whole deal with that particular situation. But there is $50,000 for us holding that building for him for 6 months. We continue to showed it a number of times.
They just had first right.
But, they didn't necessarily have first right, they had to have a license before they would close the sale. And the license didn't come. I asked him how far down the list they were, they would give him 5, and he said they were 12. So he's 7 down below, where he needed to be, and I think they're gonna throw him in the towel, that's my opinion. But anyway, between now and April, I think that we can take the 30,000 and we can make our way with it. I don't think we'll have to cut any services, it may not, as long as I know in April, we can reevaluate everything and look at it. But we want to be able to provide y'all with any service that's necessary to bring a job into this town. And I think we've got a professional developer over there that knows what he's doing, he's been doing it so long that he's respected all over the state. And, I just feel good about where we are with what we're doing, and I know that we provide quality jobs. And most of these industries we got out there, guys are paying probably $20 to $30 an hour. They're really good jobs.
Now, I have a question on the grass cutting. What are y'all paying to get?
We're paying, for the guy to cut around the spec of your building to make it look nice and clean, we're paying him $700 a month. And so, you know, 7 to 12, you can see where we're going. with this.
Right.
We'll still cut grass between now and about, what, October?
Right.
November? So we still gonna have some pretty significant cuts between now and then. That's a pretty heavy cut, let me just say it like that.
Okay.
Significant, cut, but we'll figure it out.
$700 a month is a, you know,
But
that's
he's
a
cutting
lot.
about 5 acres.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not a little yard.
Yeah, that's not a little yard.
No, he's cutting all around that speculative building.
Okay, yeah, I know exactly where you're talking about.
You know, if you show a building, it needs to look good.
And you're also doing some occasional bush hogging on other property.
Right, the other properties we gotta cut too, and, the property across the road, which is about 12 acres.
Oh, wow.
Is probably about this tall right now, it's got to be cut. And, it probably will cost a couple $1,000s to get it cut.
So that's not
But,
included for the
we've
city.
taken that load away from the city crew, and it's helped them tremendously, but at the same time, it's kind of strengthening us right now.
Well, and I'm sure if you're getting a bind, Mr. Dowd, Reed's always able to help and whatnot.
Well, I was gonna ask if we could maybe lean back on the city at times.
Case by case basis, yeah, if you just can't
If
get
you get
somebody
behind.
out there and, you know, free up a man or something for a day, then you just gotta, just give it to him.
Okay.
He's willing to do it.
I think we need to reevaluate that, all of Reed's tasks as far as cutting grass, cause sometimes we have Reed, he spread so thin, and some of the grass that he's supposed to be cutting now, I'm not saying anything bad about Reed, Reed does a great job, but when we have him spread so thin,
Right.
sometimes the grass, you know, it gets pushed to the side because other things are
Well, that was
priorities.
the idea of getting like Sims in there. in here.
Have they
Takes
been-
some long.
But that's what I was saying, like, let's reevaluate all the grass.
Maybe
that he's
add that to
responsible-
Sims.
Yeah, all the grass he's responsible for,
Add some
and the
more.
things that he can't get to in a timely manner, maybe we can just have an agreement with Sims and we can say, hey, can you do this?
What do you charge per cut?
Yeah.
And if we need them to do it for one that month or one day,
Yeah,
then that is per
instead
cut.
of pulling Reed off of other stuff, we
Right.
can just get somebody else to go and take care of
Let's
it.
get a price from Sims
Yeah.
per cut on each thing. Okay.
Anything else, Al?
Yeah, the, only other thing I wanted to say was that, we try to provide a service, provide jobs for our people. All of you know that it's really hard to find people that want to work right now in Colorado, and most of the industrial work is hard work. It's physical and like everything else, it's hard to keep people employed. The other thing I'd like to say to you guys, and I appreciate the fact I read where you're opening up or beginning to develop an aquatic center, a pool, a hot recreation program, whatever. The thing that's gonna bring our people to town that work in these industries is going to be recreation, education, police protection, environmental.
Absolutely.
Really backbone of the city. It's what's gonna bring them in here. And I really wish that, as the leaders of the group, that you'd look hard at those things, and I don't want any mother ever to look at the crime rate in Sylacauga, which is pretty high, by the way,
Yes.
and say, I'm not moving there because of that situation. We'll stay in Chelsea, or we'll stay in Inverness, or wherever it is they wanna stay, but we wanna come down here and work. So that's not what we want. We wanna develop a situation where people not only wanna work here, but they wanna live here. And I wish that the long-range view of you guys would be to look at that situation.
Always.
Housing is a real need.
Yep.
Low income to high income housing is a real need in this town to get people to come and live here. And the backbone of our business is the people that, these people are making a lot of money. Bank managers, people that work at the quarries, they're making a lot of money and they're taking it and spending it at homes somewhere else. I don't like that personally, and I hope you don't either.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I look forward to April, and we'll review our situation then, and see if we can't make it.
Before then, so we'll have it by April.
Okay?
Thanks, Mr. Dowd.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Margaret's next, and I think today's her birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Y'all were supposed to join in, but y'all.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
With
Miss
a
Margaret.
voice like mine, I don't think I need to sing it.
Very much.
I just, I wanted to first of all say that for the safe contract, the initial safe contract that was zeroed out, we certainly understand that. That's not something that I'm here to ask you about. I understand those things will be reviewed again, as you've mentioned several times. And I want to say a special thank you to Alex and, all the work she has been doing with us with regards to, looking at how the transportation programs are funded and how those monies have come about, and the fact that we have reached, very much an agreement with regards to moving forward at least through April. And I appreciate that. My concern is that we have had the opportunity that, to bring in money to transportation and to the city through the agreements that we have in terms of the jobs transportation program and the workforce ready transport that you just agreed to, entered into agreement on, in June. And so what we have there is an opportunity to further support the funding and the programming for your 5311 and your senior transportation program. Because based on our initial, numbers, and I have sort of a breakout here, in 2 months, we have generated through the Workforce Ready program, and for 2 weeks in June, we generated $1,776. In July, it was $5,404, and we're tracking to be over $6,000 for August and moving forward, because this program is building and growing. In addition to the fact that we have the money in the bank, it's safe, we write you a check at the first of the month for the money that we owe you for the Workforce Ready Transport. It goes directly to you. There's no wait period like we have with East Alabama and the 5311. I don't know about the senior program, but the 5311 program, there's no wait time. That money goes directly to you. We are in a position right now to anticipate that we will be able to, with both jobs, and this is a conservative estimate, both jobs and workforce ready transport, to provide to the city funding for the next fiscal year in excess of $70,000 annually. We have that money in the bank, and as far as the jobs program goes, you have that agreement, and that agreement will continue moving forward. So those are, as well as with the Workforce Ready Transport program, we pay the van driver, and we pay the dispatcher. 25% of the admin costs come out of our pocket, not out of yours. So the money that you're getting for $1 a mile and $25 an hour is directly to you. And that serves to pay the additional expenses, like the gas, like the maintenance on the van that we're using to transport these individuals to training and to work. And Mr. Marsh just talked about employment. Transportation is a huge barrier to training and to employment. And these folks ride for free. And so, and what it does is then again generate funding for you all that goes into the operations of your transportation program, or really however you want to spend it.
But it really, so I'm thinking, so the 70,000 a year that, the income, so the program would kind of, I guess, would balance out, because we would still be responsible for the gas and maintenance, right?
You would be responsible, yes, responsible for gas and maintenance, but we pay for the workforce ready transport, not for the jobs, but for the workforce ready transport. We pay for the driver and for the admin cost out of the money that we receive. This is a program that was designed by the state legislature to address transportation barriers in rural areas of the state. And we're the hub. And we also are doing this in Chambers County, across Talladega County, and over in the Wiregrass.
Do you think net, after we get that 70 and pay our fuel and maintenance and stuff, that's still
New
new revenue to the city?
To the city.
But
Mr. Gregg?
Yeah.
Let me address the fuel issue here. I have the figures here. I took 1 week of running the Talladega Lane and the Talladega Lane for workforce ready. And what I did was, we totaled up the amount that, the program paid for us that particular week. Then I took the mileage that we ran and divided by our current miles per gallon average for the fleet, which is 5.9 month. And then we took $3.40 a gallon per fuel. That you don't pay that amount, because I don't know what your tax break is on that. Even after fuel for the Childersburg lane, that lane paid us $121 that week. The Talladega lane paid us $235 that week. On a monthly basis, the Childersburg lane will pay us $484.64, and the Talladega lane will pay $1,048.56, which comes out about $1,533 per month. That after fuel costs is the profit. Over a year's time, you're gonna depend upon fuel costs and miles per gallon that we're getting, because right now we're idling more because of the heat. But somewhere between $18,000 and $22,000 a year, you're gonna get just on those two lanes.
I'm not asking, I know y'all sound defensive, I'm not asking.
No,
Just trying to
I'm
tell
just
us
trying
we
to
got money to
explain.
give you.
I know, but this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that would be a good thing to do, it would be a great program, but I also don't want to agree to do it and then we end up spending money. So to me, even if the $70,000 was a wash, it would be a good idea. Does that make sense? I'm just trying to make sure, you know, if we're gonna get $70,000 in profit, for me to consider,
I'm not saying you're gonna get 70,000 in profit, what I'm saying is that you will generate in revenue, on average, and that's an underestimate, I can tell you. An underestimate for these two programs, jobs and workforce ready transport, in revenue to the city is conservative estimate $70,000. Based on what our figures, and this is a replication of the JARC program that was a federally funded program. This is now state funded by the state of Alabama. And on average, except for the jobs is federal. But on average, revenue for transportation, you basically have four sources of revenue. You've got your grant with East Alabama for 5311. You've got whatever you get from East Alabama for the aging and nutrition. You have workforce ready transport, and you have jobs. Those are your sources of revenue that go back into the program to pay your expenses.
I know, so that's what I'm saying, so that goes back into the program, so essentially it's a wash. So that's
It
what
may not be a wash, in fact, as we have tracked our numbers, Tiffany, it really, you wind up, because you're getting reimbursed at $1 a mile and $25 an hour for both the jobs program and the workforce ready. Where if you were transporting those individuals on a regular basis, it would be $2 a trip. Now you're getting $1 a mile, $25 an hour. So when you calculate that out, this is how we get the reimbursement.
So you're saying it pays for itself and some?
And some,
The minimum is
exactly,
paying for
exactly.
itself.
Well, see, I don't care about the and some, which the and some will be good, but, yeah, but you see what I'm saying? I just have to see it on paper, the math is math to me, I just have to see it, but as long as like, you know.
And I know was a question of because there has been a delay in reimbursement from East Alabama. This is not, the workforce ready transport is safe. You're entering to an agreement with safe. We have the money.
When is the deadline for this to be considered?
Well, you've got a contract with us.
And it expires the 30th of September.
The 30th.
So the admin fees, what is the breakdown on that for these two programs?
Well, the admin fees, the jobs, because it is tied to East Alabama. That's an agreement you have with East Alabama. The jobs program.
We or us, or
Huh?
y'all? Us or y'all have that agreement?
You do, because to run the TANF program, and then to get reimbursed at $1 a mile,
I just get the
$25.
three mixed up.
Yeah, I know, it's confusing. 5311's over here, seniors over
Yeah.
here, and then you've got these two. Jobs is with 5311, well, it's not with 5311, but it comes out of East Alabama. Workforce Ready Transport comes out of SAFE. It's your agreement with SAFE, but we also have to have permission from ALDOT and East Alabama to enter into these agreements. But that money sits at SAFE. We have that money. We write the check every month for the Workforce Ready Transport, which we think is ultimately, with the rate of service right now, we're looking at conservatively $7,000 a month.
Is that anything?
No, that's what you're gonna get.
Okay, what about the admin fee?
Admin fees, we're taking 25%, we're paying 25% of our dispatch admin, and we're paying for that out of our money. And we're paying for the van driver out of our money. So the only thing you're responsible for, although you're getting the full reimbursement, responsible for the Workforce Ready Transport is gas and maintenance.
We don't pay any of that admin, what's the other 75% come from?
It comes out of the other budgets, out of the 5311 and all that, because they're up, when we.
So it's not new money, it's in that current.
Yeah, what we do is percentages of time people are spending on a particular funding source, for lack of a better way. And Gail right now is spending 25% of her time on Workforce Ready Transport. And it's not just for you, it's for the entire program. The 25% of her time, it's of her 40 hours a week is spent on Workforce Ready Transport, which means it's out of the other budgets. Then the van driver, that typically would be paid out of, if we weren't operating this program, comes over to Workforce Ready Transport.
When they're making those runs, that switches the.
We're paying them, yeah, we're budgeting 1.0 FTE van driver, and we may be doing more because of the, but that will be on us. You get the full reimbursement there. So basically, all you're out for those for that transport is, gas and maintenance.
Do you have some paperwork on that, so we can just see it on paper and?
I have just a breakout of what the expenditures for the input was this year. I don't know if that, I don't have that breakout. I mean, I can provide it to you, but
I guess, I'm just asking, that's why I need it, so it makes sense.
The budget.
How do you guys get reimbursed for, so?
we're not reimbursed. We have the money up front.
For the drivers?
For the we're reimbursed for the drivers that are not Workforce Ready Transport out of the money that you allocate to us and the grant money that you get from East Alabama.
I know, but I guess I just need to see it on paper, because if the program is
I
gonna
have
make
it, I just don't have
if
it.
the program is gonna make the city money, wouldn't you guys take a loss if you're paying for the, labor?
No, it's not a loss for us. We're not gaining anything out of this.
But you're not
Except
losing
for-
anything either?
No, we're not losing anything, because we have the funds to operate this program. So what we're doing is, we're just pushing it out, so that the community gets the service.
Let's do this, Ms. Margaret. Next week, I recommend that the council relook at this, because you know it expires in the 30th, and we had planned to
Yeah.
cut it completely, so let us look at it next week and read it. Because what
And
you're
I'll be
saying
glad
makes
to-
sense, so yeah, obviously, you'll be here, don't worry, we need you. So you, Ms. Gregg, all y'all come back next week and let's relook at this, reevaluate.
We just want you to know that there's money there to provide this program, and also money that will benefit the cities behind it.
I got one more question. Is this something that the council as the whole will have to approve, or?
We would have to re-up it, because
Will
it
it have to
expires
be
in
resolution?
September, we would have to renew.
So, yeah, you're
I know it, but I was just wondering if it was just something you could approve on your own.
Don't say we have.
Well, no, I'm just saying, I think it's a good idea. I just want to see it.
Yeah, I mean, it really is a win.
Especially if it's giving funds back and you've got the money and it won't take us that long to get it. That's totally different from what we've dealt with in the past.
And for the Workforce Ready Transport money, we pay our bills by the 10th of the month. You will have a check.
Mr. Gregg?
No, I just,
Oh, I thought you had your hand up over there.
Thank
Sound
you,
good?
and
Yes.
again, we are more than willing to work with the city. We're not objecting to the cuts, I understand that. We just want you to get what.
We need some explaining sometimes too. You got a lot going on.
Happy birthday, thank you for all
Yeah,
that
go
you
enjoy
do.
it.
Thanks, Miss Margaret.
Thank
Happy
you,
birthday,
Michelle.
Brad. Who's next?
Thank you, Alex.
by the way, my birthday is Tuesday.
Happy early birthday.
And you live in District 3.
Is there anybody else that wants to speak?
Voted for your friend.
The orchestra.
Yeah, the artist. Leah.
Miss Leah, you wanna say anything on behalf of the ARC? or-
No, we just came to, we understand what's going on.
Okay.
Just here to support the city.
Gotcha.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Leah. And thank you for the job that you do.
And you,
Thank y'all,
And
sorry to drop
Chelsea.
you a little money.
The, childcare, it is not been cut, so there's nothing there.
we can move on from there.
What is that exactly? Is that the Drew Court?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Museum, we know we're doing the roofing, is there anything not capital operational regarding the museum that's gonna, change? I guess the only thing is really the manager. Correct?
No, the proposed plan is to cut them $800.
Got you.
Lake Howard, the proposed plan is to cut them $25,000.
Which we've talked with Mid Utilities Board and all that.
And they understand,
Yeah.
and they're willing to work with
Because
us.
the city usually pays 50
Yes, sir.
a year, with utilities paying 50 a year.
Yes, sir.
And we're planning to do
The
25,
agreement-
6 months
Right,
reevaluates.
but the agreement does not state when we have to pay them,
Right.
so.
So we'll do 25 from now and then.
Yes, sir.
Alright, and Mitch is good with that?
Yes.
Can I ask a question since we manage
Yes.
that money? Now, that's not coming out of the reimbursements, correct?
That's the, you talking about
Project
Lake Howard
money.
Authority
The
contract?
Lake Howard Authority has an account that was actually got a good bit of money
Oh, yeah,
back
right.
in it. So we're gonna operate off that, and then y'all are gonna match your 25 when we reassess in April.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cause that's how we're paying for disc golf also, is out of that fund.
Yeah, disc golf's already been.
Yeah. That's all.
Airport, nothing changed?
The airport, the proposed is cut $21,000.
And you, like I said, you talked to all these people,
No, sir.
you didn't talk to airport.
No, sir. Mayor, did you talk to the airport?
No, I didn't.
Ms. Case, you.
Nobody's came in contact
I'm
with me.
on the airport authority. I think that just as a citizen, number one, let me say I am the executive director of TCR, Child Care Corporation, with a Head Start here in Sylacauga, that you guys, it looks like we're one of the few that didn't get cut, so we do appreciate that. We use that as in kind to help, provide a service over there to a lot of needy children. The airport, I think we'll be okay. But I just wanna say, I don't know how well we're looking at essential services and what we're doing to ensure that we're putting a high priority on those. I thought this meeting, I thought it started at 3, so I apologize, I'm a little late getting here, so I haven't heard everything that was being said. I do know that what people are saying in the community, y'all are making some tough decisions and cutting some very fundamental, or holding people's budget with the hope of April, that these funds will be available in April. I certainly hope they'll be available in April. I have to back up what, Mr. Marsh, I'm also on the IDB, said, is that, without us having a safe community, without us having a good school system, without us having some fundamental things that we need here, then this is all for nothing. If we continue to, and I may step on some toes when I say this, but if we continue to fund frivolous crap, like speakers downtown, those kind of things. What, we need to get our fundamentals funded. We need to be able to say, how do we look 5 years from now? Can we continue to support this? Can we continue to fund it? I know that the pool is a hot topic, and we have to look at that as a city, as how do we long-term support the pool? It's been shut down for a long time. It's gonna take a good bit of money to get it back and running, and then you have to employ, and you have to have people there, and you have to have enough people there to run it safely. And can we do that? Can we do, I think it's great, we have a lot of volunteers in the community. I do a lot of volunteering in the community when I can. But when we're dependent on volunteers to get the weeds up out of the sidewalks, downtown, in the main area, because, not to say that no one's not trying to fund it, but when there's no funds to fund a street department to get those things done, and have a community that when you get 2 blocks up the street here, and it's weed infested, you get 5 blocks down the street here, it's weed infested. I just think that we really need to look at what's fundamental in this community and get back to those fundamentals.
Yes, ma'am, I understand, I appreciate you being here and all the volunteering you're doing. You know, as you know, all the departments, we had this discussion that everybody's been a team player, and the departments and the city and the entities as a whole know what's at stake and what has to be done, and we've all taken cuts, and
They're not cutting any programs.
And, we've been very lucky to have the teamwork and the cooperativeness that we've had so far. And you talk about the, services provided and stuff, we've had over a year long debacle with Jameson King presenting stuff for the recreational side of things. Now we have, just as Tuesday, hired an architectural firm that specializes in aquatics to handle that and do everything that you mentioned times 10. We have a small committee of invested community group, partners to head that. And, besides the weeds growing in the sidewalk, you know, we've had, several very rare and extremely dangerous flooding events happen in the past couple of years. And that allowed us to see our faults and our cracks, so to speak, to see what we need to fix. And we've been focusing on that stuff and letting the weeds slide for now, but we've got a lot going on with little amount of help. And what fixes that is higher pay rates, which we have also gotten with 3 different pay plans on tap, 1 already approved and 2%. And another about $160,000 worth of pay raises for those essential employees to help further the jobs that they do and to get more people in to allow them to pick those weeds out of the sidewalk.
Well, I just use weeds in the sidewalk as an example.
No, I'm just answering all your stuff.
Yeah, no, sir, and I didn't, I just, really, like I said, let's look at the we really need to look at the fundamentals here.
Absolutely, I agree with you 100%.
Mr. Brewer, you keep looking at me like I've lost my mind.
Well, I'm concerned, I'm looking at you, because we're making these cuts and doing the best we can do with what we got to do with it. And we don't have any of our people cutting any programs. And we cut some funding, I mean, we're trying to do, we've inherited a little bit of an issue here that some of us didn't know that was going on.
The mayor, can you better explain that so that people can understand what's going on, why we're here making
Well, as a
cuts?
point of order, let's stick with the budget. If you wanna know something, that needs to be talked about somewhere else. We need to stick with the budget. What you're trying to do, we're working the best we possibly can. We're down to 11 people in this department. That's 2 people there working in an office that used to have 7. Police department, fire department, street department. All these, this is my responsibility, and this is what we're trying to work with. We're gonna work with you the best way we can. We want our airport. We need it. It's a quality of life and a benefit to the city. But give us some time and understand what we're trying to do, and by April, just give us the first 6 months of the new year, and we'll be able to level a lot of this stuff out. But it takes time to bring it in. Yes, we have issues out there that we're wasting money on, and we're finding it. We didn't realize it at one time, because we didn't have the communications back then. Now we got communication, just like Chief Osgood said. We're working together. We're finding out things.
And a lot of these
We're
small
not over
things
here
come
paying.
from quality of life that help these citizens and get them in turn more invested. Like some people, like yourself, just wanna volunteer because they like volunteering, wanna help the place they live. Other people see these things we're doing to provide quality of life and say, hey, I wanna be a part of that, and they jump on board. And so that's helped out a lot, because when we came in, we now have across the board, besides reappointments coming up, all of our board entities are full volunteers. We had 3 or 4 openings when we first came in, and every single board, it would never be filled. So we're trending in the right direction.
Mayor,
Ma'am, I'm sorry.
I wasn't questioning the airport. I appreciate your support and all
Well,
that.
I'm sorry, but
Yeah, and
when you look at this stuff month after month and figure after figure and trying to do the best we can, I apologize. I need to settle down.
Yes, sir, and I don't want you to think that that's what
Yeah.
I'm not in here.
Yeah.
I'm just, it just seems at times in this community that we're focused on things that, and I get budgets. It just seems that we focus on things. If that
It will.
$3,000 at drug court can help somebody more.
It does, absolutely.
Use that $3,000 where it can help somebody more. But I just hope that we can work as a community to get some things going. We have some things going. We've got stuff going on here on Tulane. That's great, thank you. You have been the mayor while all that's happened and all that. It's just kind of strange that.
We have wasted money in the past, we know it. We're finding it out, but that's not gonna happen in the future. We're gonna be fine.
That's all I'm saying, is let's look at our foundation and make sure we have a strong foundation, because if we don't have a strong foundation, then it's all going.
That's right.
to
We can't build our,
collapse.
no,
Yeah.
can't put a foundation on sand, we need to put it on solid rock. We need
Yes,
to build
sir.
it. And that's where we're
So
headed.
we've addressed everybody, correct, Alan?
Yep, yes, sir, anybody that wanted to speak, that's correct.
I mean, each entity and all that, so I'm just saying, what's the next step?
I got a question. If we've done everybody, haven't, I know Ashley, I just got one question, and y'all may not agree with me, but it's about the funding that was cut for the library. And you know, and the only reason I'm asking is because when we cut her state funding is gonna go away, and it's gonna go away for the whole year, whether we give her what we cut back in April or not. So is what she's losing from the state worth cutting her, or are we going to reevaluate giving her the total amount that she lost from the state and what we took in April?
I thought she said she had some grants that could pay for some stuff, and then she would use that money, she would pay for some stuff with.
But,
on the
but,
other.
but she's still losing, and essentially we're telling everybody else that what we're taking from you now, don't worry, because in April we're gonna reevaluate. But even if we just give her back what we cut, she still loses the other money, no matter what. You see what I'm saying? So are we gonna reevaluate the total loss she's losing, or are we just gonna reevaluate what we're taking?
I think we'll reevaluate what we're taking, because she's not gonna be cut any, now this is just my opinion, and we can do whatever we think we need to do, but I thought we should reevaluate what we're actually taking, because she's not having to cut any services and not having to go without it anytime.
But she's still losing money.
I can't listen to everybody at one time, talk to me, Tiff.
But she will, because even if, when April comes, if we just reevaluate what we're taking, she's gonna lose that state funding for a year, and she has to reapply.
So you're saying what we need to do
It's
is
either not cut her hers, or either we're gonna have to.
Reevaluate the whole
giving
amount.
her the whole amount, because that's not right. So it's like a city, she said it was a city input, and if the city decides that we're not gonna give you any money, then why should we? And I don't think that's fair, and Church is the only case that's like this, so that needs to be considered. So is her amount worth cutting?
I don't know where we would get the other money from.
But how much?
I could say yes, we could go.
So it's $10,000.
Extra.
No, it's only $10,000 that we're taking, but even, no matter how
But
much.
if we get
take,
that, then she gets the 16.
then she gets the funding. You see what I'm saying? So is it worth her losing $16,000, and and then we only think about giving her 10 in April.
So then she'd be short 6,000 if we give her 10.
16.
16,000.
But if
we didn't
If we give her the 10, then she doesn't lose anything.
Right, but if we
give her
don't,
something to show support, then the state gives them that. If we
That's
don't,
right. How
state
much
gives
would you be
nothing.
talking about giving in April to?
It would be $26,000.
yeah, but 26.
Or
The 10
we just
plus the
don't-
16
or
they
we
missed
just don't
out.
cut the 10 now.
I think we'd be saving money in the long run by not.
Ma'am.
It's looking like a $10,000 cut from the city. But the state library service says if your local funding gets cut at all, then you lose your state aid funding. And our state aid amounts to basically $16,000.
So the state would take the whole 16 away from you?
Yes.
And then you'd have to figure out where to come up with that 16 plus
So,
the
so
10.
it would not just be 10, it would be 26,000.
So see, the thing is, Nate, the services that she said we're not gonna cut back now, when April comes, we're gonna have to look at cutting.
Depends on
But what if we could
$26,000.
get, what if we could give the whole 26, what if we could get 15, 18,000?
But what if we just don't cut the 10 at all, and she still gets the
Yeah.
whole 26?
Y'all make it, I'll be in support, whatever y'all
But
think.
do you, I just want.
I get what you're
Because
saying.
her case is different, and I'm
Look,
just saying.
hold on, it depends on, is there 10 to take?
Is there 10 to take?
There is, because we're not using the right definition.
But right
Hold on a
is,
minute.
right is right.
No, I understand what you're saying, and monetarily, or logistically, however you wanna look at it, but it makes
Because if we
sense.
take 10 from her, we're essentially losing.
She's
20.
losing 26.
Alex, is there somewhere we could take
They're trying to figure out.
and, oh,
Just
okay.
take 10 for 6 months, and then from something else, and they can get it in April.
What about, did the museum get cut any at all? They got cut $800. Could we not cut some from them temporarily and they cut from somewhere
She's
else
working
to
on
give them?
She's working on it right now.
Alex will figure it out.
Because I mean,
But y'all, please,
I get it, you're talking about 26,000, not just 10,000.
yes.
I'm with you.
10,000 cost us 16.
What you got,
Take
babe?
the $10,000 from accounting and finance, because even if I hire 4 people, they can't go to training all at one time. There is a time frame where everybody has to be certified. Me included is 2 years. Business license clerk will have 2 years to get the training. You cut them now though, in April, we'll have to see
But we
if
can
I can find it.
we can reevaluate it with yours, but not,
We're not.
yeah.
Like, you gonna work those into your numbers?
I'll just cut mine in.
But see, but in April, we can.
Yeah.
We're gonna cut my training line,
It's,
You can cut mine too.
your training line?
42501, just cut it 10 grand. And that will just leave my office with no training, which should be fine right now, because I'm already short 4 bodies.
Okay.
And let me say thank you, Alex, because we have already said there will be no training.
Stop the violence,
Anything
one
like that
on
in our
one.
side here, so,
All my folks that need to be trained are resigning anyway. It's really told.
Okay.
So, Nicole, did you mark that down?
Thank you, Alex.
Thanks, Alex, for being a team player.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for realizing.
So Alex, with that being said, is there, obviously, we take this, and this is something we'll have to pass at the meeting, the next meeting, correct?
Well, the question is, are we prepared to pass it, or do
Well,
I
yeah,
have
I-
to rework it?
Well, we gotta rework that, you just said, but
Well, that
what is
was-
the bottom line right now?
How much money's in the bank right now?
Or what is our surplus, if any, is what I'm asking,
For FY 23 or FY 24?
for this budget to be passed?
$0.
We're at 0, so that's,
This is it. Yes.
so we're not in the red.
We're not in the red, we're not in the black, we're at 0.
All right, Ms. Heath has got some questions. Go ahead, Laura.
Okay, is there any way, because look, some of these appropriations are having to do their budgets as well. They, they can't budget for half the year, I mean, they have their own board of directors and stuff. How are we gonna handle that? Like, as I said, we're gonna have to look at funding more time and a half for the police because of the drug task force, hack cutting services, because they're going to do their budget for the whole year, not just 6 months. And so they're gonna cut services immediately, like, So what are we going to do? Plus, we're gonna have to pay more in fuel and stuff. for them
Minus,
to go.
minus last year with the full payment we gave them, the previous at least 2 years, I know,
Yeah.
we had given them the 42,000, not the whole asking that they'd asked.
But
Then when we give
But
them
they
the full, they
also-
hired one of our employees, like I said, was gonna take place.
That's not,
But-
remember what happened, we gave him half, and Kelly gave him the other half because he had money in his
Yeah.
budget because he couldn't hire anybody. So maybe Kelly can do that this time too, because I know we need to hire
Yeah.
8 people,
But
we
he
have that many
can't
You
positions,
can't
so
hire
that,
them in a year.
and you can't, so
No.
maybe Kelly can make that decision, since
Well-
we're not gonna fund it, he can use his own funding like he did last time, so we give whatever we're gonna give, and he can make up the rest out of his budget.
Let me ask this, could we rescind the retirement thing for one employee, one salary? Cause he's 7 short, so let's rescind the retirement, thing where his salaries are going into that retirement fund and use that salary to pay the contract.
Would that work, Alex?
Would that work?
Why can't we just take one of our
Entire
open,
city.
just reallocate the open
Reallocate it,
position,
yeah,
not
one
for retirement?
open, yeah, one open position, and he was in agreement with that, he and I spoke about
We did
it
it last year.
earlier, just one position, take that funding.
Call him on the phone real quick.
No, we can talk about
You say
it,
that.
I'm saying,
That makes the law come up.
you get what I'm saying, take one of his open positions to reallocate the 40 or whatever it is, maybe 2 positions. But in actuality, there's no way he's gonna hire 8 people next fiscal year.
We don't have
It's a
enough.
stopgap that helps with our task force and then avoids any overtime and other.
Right, so it would be a win for overtime as well.
Ivan, you want me to send them to you?
Mhm.
You wanna reduce his budget by one
Because
person.
that's why I was sending.
I mean, you need to, I would mention it to him, but
We allocated one.
Well, I'm-
Yeah, so that would help this.
is one gonna be enough?
One is more than 40.
To fund the drug task force?
Yeah, so one's more, I mean, one's able to get the, drug task force 40,000, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
so we can fully fund them.
one position.
So are we gonna have another meeting to where she's gonna show us the new updated budget with all the changes?
meet early on
The work session, and with the updated budget and everything?
Just meet early on the 7th.
So we need to relook at the workforce ready for safe,
Yeah,
and I need to speak with the chief of police regarding the one.
cutting one vacancy.
Right,
Is there
cause I spoke with him
anything else
earlier
I need
about
to
it,
look at?
I got a
and I can
question,
call him on,
my bad, Laura.
Yeah, we'll do those 2 things, we'll confirm those on the 7th. I mean, you can work on it in the meantime, but we can confirm it,
I will.
come early on the 7th, make sure it's packed.
Or just do the work.
4 o'clock, or regular work session, we can lighten the load, 30 minutes before. Now, look around like that.
You got a lot on your work session and agenda already. for the
So
7th.
what time do we need to be here on the 7th?
4?
4.
Alright.
Forward.
Alright, Alex, so I know y'all, we did it at first, the capital, so.
Yep, let me go back to it
Yeah.
for you.
I just need to, so did we decide that everything on capital were approved, or just those few things at the top?
I think it's just those few little things.
Well, the question,
That's what, cause I know we talked about it, but I just wanna make sure, I just need to know what I'm doing.
That makes 2 of us.
No, just, you know what I'm.
I get it, baby.
Is capital being approved too that day on the 7th, or,
Yeah, cause we need to look at approving both.
but that's why I'm.
the question on the capital is, are you guys in favor of rescinding the $150,000 for the fire truck? Cause that's the 150 plus the 30.
Is there a need to rescind it, or can we just not move line items? Like we did with
According
the building
to
and maintenance?
the city clerks that I've spoken with, which are 4, in order to reallocate the money, you have to rescind that line for capital so that we can reuse it. Otherwise, the money stays with him.
I guess it's just a matter of me stating that and voting on it in the meeting, correct?
That's correct. But that was
That's a big deal.
determine how far you guys go down on this
If
list.
we rescind that and get the money out, which I think we would like to do, how far down do we go?
Number 4,
1 through 4?
that's it.
Okay.
It's 180 total is what you're looking at for FY '24, if you rescind his truck.
See why not?
Okay, so Alex, there's another page on capital, right?
There's 2 more.
2 pages, 2 more.
That's 8 through 13.
Okay, so how many items total were there? 17,
20, ma'am.
20? Okay, so what, are we approving, we're not.
We don't have a,
approving-
when we rescind that, we only have 180 to work with in capital.
We'll just do 1 through 4.
Okay, that's what I'm asking, so what's the total?
Yeah.
162,
Okay,
and we need to bear in mind, when we rebid, or not rebid, but when we bid out the roof for the museum, if that cost comes in over, you guys are gonna have, what, a little less than 18 grand.
okay,
For that roof.
so my next question is, so if we do 1 through 4, but the ladder truck is gonna be included too, right?
No, we're rescinding it, the ladder truck is not included.
That's the only way we can do 1 through 4.
Well, I mean,
We go in the priority,
Cause right now, we
Should've
only have
been done.
$30,000.
Okay, so now I'm confused,
We only
because,
have 30,000.
because we
I mean,
budgeted
obviously
for
it
this
has
to
to
be
be
done
done.
last year?
yes, but it wasn't done.
So
So
instead of doing
y'all
capital
could
by
have reasons.
departments, we've done a whole prioritized list, and these, we only have 30,000 currently, without the rescinding that. one.
Okay, so this is my next question, so I'm assuming this is gonna be reviewed in April as well? What, minus the first 4 things?
As long as you guys find me more money for capital projects.
well, we found the money, you're supposed to find the money.
I did.
That's what it is.
Sorry, Nate.
That's it.
Just flip one more time, Alex, I'm sorry, just flip one more time. Okay,
Post office.
12. What did we
Complete
do,
phase
12?
2?
Yes, that's the second half of the long-term plan.
Cause we did, what, the beige stuff in one section, and the living quarters in one, and then we're supposed to swap.
Okay, that's what I was trying to figure out.
So nothing else on this list we have money for, basically?
Why are there 2 Summit waterproofings for City Hall? Are those 2 separate phases, I guess, with the cumulative total, yeah? Did it not get waterproofed with the police station flooding? Did they not, was that not included?
The waterproofing is the sealing of the entire building.
Okay.
Certain kind of sealant, and it seals the brick, it seals the exterior areas. It hasn't been done in 10 years, 10, 15 years,
Okay,
something like that.
I was just making sure it wasn't something to do with.
Alex, what's the reference to the post office?
The post office is the one across the street
Historical
from the
Society.
museum, the historical.
And that's on the lot with the high school?
Yeah.
Oh,
Can I ask why we have to take care of that?
Some city property,
City property.
we accepted it.
Okay, thank you. Godzilla.
So is it different phases
For me?
for the?
No, the Summit waterproofing. I think it was just in there twice, I apologize. Yeah, disregard 13.
Well, what is the cumulative total there?
Roofing.
So that would be
2 separate
2
things.
separate phases.
Well,
I
we
will
could
fix
do
this
it
slide and
anyway,
resend it
I
out.
mean, yeah, it don't matter,
But it is correct in your pamphlets.
Okay.
So the idea is at the next meeting to rescind the 150, have 180 total, so we can approve the capital, the top 4 things on capital.
That's correct.
With a $18,000 contingency in case the museum roof goes up.
Or any of the other 4.
Yeah.
As far as the other 4, the number 2, number 3, and number 4, we already have the quotes for. So
Great.
the only issue would be number 1.
Nate, okay, is that truck, I mean, not getting, is there a potential for issues with it? I mean.
Yeah, but like I said earlier, it
Maintenance of-
continues to show the signs of 20-year wear, but,
My truck does too, I understand.
I mean,
This is for citizens putting out their
right, but I
fires,
mean,
it's a lot
if,
different.
if we get our ladder test done this year and they say the cable is too worn and it needs to be removed from service, I mean,
Have to replace it.
we can't continue to use it, because if somebody gets hurt on it, then
We're
we're in
liable.
even deeper water than we normally are.
Well, we don't want anybody
So-
hurt,
so,
for
I mean,
sure.
We're skating by, you know, continuing to use it until such a time as we have to.
How
Until it
much-
becomes an emergency when we absolutely have to do something with it.
I got a question, and this is gonna sound off the wall, but from previous years, what is the usage of that truck? Like, I mean, is it
So-
utilized
So
pretty often?
it runs on all commercial structure fires, fire alarms, or multi-story building, which is generally commercial. And then, of course, special use, technical rescue, that type of thing, it runs on. So obviously, it doesn't run as much as our first out engines do.
Right.
But, I mean, it's a piece of equipment that we have to have.
Right.
Given the fact that we have, you know, a four-story residential building down there on West 8th Street, you know.
Yeah.
We have to have it.
Needs to be a pool pumper.
And again, it doesn't get set up on every fire by any means, you know, but it's
Devil made me say that.
one of those things that when you need it, and there's no other replacement for it.
Right. Is there any other ones in the vicinity of neighboring departments?
Yeah, I mean, Childersburg has one,
Okay.
all four of the paid departments in the county have one,
Okay.
because it's a requirement for ISO to have an elevated
But
master
that would
truck.
take, you know, quite a long response
Oh,
time.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
I mean, if you're talking about,
for mutual aid.
you know, God forbid, you know, the sky falls and, you know, Sylacauga catches on fire and we gotta start bringing people out windows on the ladder truck, you don't have time to wait for one to get here
So
from
that's our
Talladega.
community lives.
Alright, so
And that's from your district, right?
we can also, relook, once we get an increase in revenue, we decide what percentage or whatever goes into for capital.
Yes.
So we can relook at the rest of the stuff in April as
Yep.
well.
That's contingent on the council.
And the fire department is getting a certain percentage, so maybe that
The
can come out
earmark
of
fund,
that.
because he said that he's gonna do some of that stuff on there.
Yeah.
With the earmark funds anyway.
Absolutely. I agree.
I'm down with it. So, those are the two things, I guess, the safe and whatever that was.
Workforce ready.
Safe is, yeah,
Is
workforce ready, the police department, and I will resend out number 13.
Okay, and then that's what we'll go over, 4 o'clock, September 7th,
Yes,
and the library fees,
library's been fixed.
She just fixed.
already fixed, okay.
We fixed it on the spot.
Yep.
Alright, sounds
Task
good,
force,
so that
we're gonna-
is,
That's what she was talking about
That's
with Kelly.
not-
We
that's
gonna
not
take
how
care of
it
the
works.
task force. I
but
promise.
listen, guys, hold on.
That's not
hold
what
on,
I was
sit down.
looking at, Tip, I'm looking at you.
I just wanted to thank you for everything, because you saved us about 12 to 13 meetings, and we did this in, you know, a few hours on a Saturday, so I do appreciate it from my standpoint, my busy schedule. I know you put a lot of hard work in the mayor's office and all y'all, so all the department heads getting it there on time, so I appreciate that.
Thank y'all very much.
4 o'clock, September 7th.
We're adjourned.